Hey Bungle, nice to see you. Merry Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bungle. Hope you're doing well, and I hope you're having a great day. Today we're going over Enlisted, the World War II free-to-play first-person shooter, much requested, much talked about. Invasion of Normandy, the PZ.IV J, the Vanguard Bundle. Now you can pick this tank up by itself for $44.99, or my recommendation, paying the extra, roughly less than 20 bucks, with the bundle with the Sherman IC Firefly, which is a very good tank. Now, kind of what I do here on my channel, if you're a new viewer, possibly a new sub, give you an overview, tell you what this tank is. Next, talk about performance. Is it good? Is it bad? And lastly, is it worth it? So, without further ado, let's begin. For an overview, all right, in Enlisted, there are three types of tanks. You have your light tanks, you have your medium tanks, and you have your tank destroyers. This is a medium tank. Bungle. What does the medium tank do? Well, the medium tank is great at dealing with infantry and with tanks. It also has decent armor, increases your survivability, has that flexibility for you dealing with all the many threats that exist on the enlisted battlefield. Now, for performance, how does this perform? Well, you get a 75mm gun. This gun is capable of, yes, it can penetrate the jumbo, but you're gonna have to play a little pixel hunt and aim for the jumbo's machine gun port. But basically, this tank can deal with pretty much any threat that the Allies have in the game. Of course, if you're facing, let's say, an M10 tank destroyer, a jumbo, a regular Sherman, a Sherman Firefly, they can penetrate you, but they're going to have to aim and have to know what they're looking for. So yes, you're not invulnerable with this tank, but at the same time, you can pretty much deal with any threat the Allies have, because it's German. And also, you have a 7.62mm machine gun, which is great at just dealing with a coaxial, and a mounted one that's great at just dealing with crowd control with infantry. The HE on this gun is great. You can just go take out infantry with it. And its AP, like I said, is good. You can penetrate all that the Allies throw at you. Jumbo, of course, you're going to have the pixel hunt. Now, another thing to know is that PZ.IV J, Bungle, what's the difference between this one and the Tech Tree one, or the one that's in Berlin or whatever? Well, pretty simple, is that this one's just a 5-star premium bonus slapped onto it. My opinion, I'm going to just say this, I think it was very lazy to do. There were probably a bunch of other vehicles they could have done. They could have done a Martyr 3. They could have done even a Jagdpanther. A Jagdpanther would have been pretty cool. A Jagdpanther, a Hetzer. They had, there's so many vehicles that they could have just thrown in with this. I appreciate the Sherman Firefly being unique. I think it's kind of, in my opinion, dumb for it to be behind a paywall, just because, if you're a new player, the only way to deal with the Panther is by bombing it, demo packing it, trying to take it out with an M10, or, now you got a chance to just, pay 40 bucks and you take it out with a Firefly. Here it's like copy and paste. Really, it's just a copy and paste. And, that's my 2 cents with it. It's just like, I don't really think they have so many other options. I know they pull a lot of their models from War Thunder, and a War Thunder has a bunch of vehicles already modeled. And like I said, a Jagdpanther, a Hetzer, a Martyr even. There's just so many different vehicles you could have thrown in here. And this is just kind of being lazy and just copying and pasting. Probably that's why I'm not partnered with Enlisted anyway, because I say all that stuff. But it is true, it's kind of lazy copy and paste. So I don't know why they even included it. Of all the things I've seen so far for premiums, this is probably pretty much the most lazy one in the game. Now, is it worth it? All right, so if I'm going to throw this out there. If you're a new player coming down playing Enlisted, you have 2 options right now for premium vehicles. You get the Panzer IIIM, or you can pick this up. Now, they're both good tanks. The Panzer IIIM, in my opinion, what's the difference between this one and the Panzer IV J? Well, the Panzer IV J, like I said, it's very slow. The problem with the Panzer IV J compared to the Panzer IV H and all those later is that the Panzer IV J it has a really, I think it's a hand crank turret. So the turret traverse is terrible. The Panther, traverse is way better than that. It's just very slow and lumbersome to take around the battlefield. It's a good tank, but it's not, Panzer IV H is very mobile. Panzer IV J is kind of slower. Panzer IIIM is going to be more mobile than the Panzer IV J, but you trade off the gun with a 50mm gun, and the armor is kind of trolly with dealing with opponents. So it's kind of just a hit or miss. If you like the 75mm gun, you like the reassurance that you can pretty much deal with any threat, then there's that. Then get the Panzer IV J. But if you're looking for something mobile, kind of like the Puma, the Panzer IIIM is not like the Puma, which is ridiculous driving all over the battlefield. but it has the capability of moving around very quickly. The 50mm gun just hinders it from dealing with, you know, M4 Shermans and Jumbos and all that. So that's kind of the trade-off with it. You know, where I'm sitting back, being all the way up at the end of the tech tree and everything like that, is that this is just another vehicle if you want to expedite your grind. Like I said, me personally, I'm kind of frustrated with the way it is. The PZ.IV J is just the same thing as, you know, the tech tree one, except it's premium. Kind of lazy in my opinion. Maybe get the PZ.3M since that's kind of unique in its own way as a 50mm gun instead of the short-barreled 75 anti-infantry one that the PZ.3N gets from the tech tree. But that's my recommendation. Well, if you reach this point in the video, new viewer, possibly new subscriber, well, I hope today is the day that I earn your subscription. Having you sub and mash that like button does help me with the YouTube algorithm. If you're a returning sub, returning viewer, hashtag Dungeons and Dragons. Let's be honest, there's some of you probably played D&D, played a little bit back in the day, and also there's the Magic the Gathering collaboration with Adventures in the Forgotten Realm. Kind of interesting lore, interesting concept. Have you played Dungeons and Dragons? Are you a dungeon master? Comment down below. Let me know what you think about that. Other than that, I hope you all have a great day. Keep commenting down below for your suggestions. I'm slowly working on them. Really do appreciate the feedback. Really, you know, prevents me from having a writer's block with my content. And I hope you all have a great day. Take care.